Welcome everyone. It's Nicolette from the End of Life Care for part 3 of our series, here with Abby from the Nourishing Nut, and we're going to just finish our conversation we've been having around grief for Grief Awareness Day. And today we really wanted to focus on some positive actions. A lot of my work is with people who are going through a long-term illness and then moving into the dying phase. So a lot of my grief work is around people who have actually lost somebody and had somebody die, so or are dying and grieving as that person is dying. So that's where my focus of my work is. So I see more that sort of intense grief in that situation. And I guess today we just wanted to acknowledge that what we're suggesting is we're not focusing specifically on the initial phases of grief, which are intense and very individual, and they take a while to move through, and there's no time frame. But some of the things we're thinking of suggesting today and talking about are really things that when you're at a point where you're really ready to move into the next step, or ready to move into what's next. Doesn't mean that the grief will go away, because from my experience, grief is there. You learn to live with it rather than it finishing or having a time frame, or that after a year it'll be done and we'll move on, because it doesn't happen like that. So and I guess these positive steps are a way of then embracing living again and bringing life back into your life and allowing the grief to be there at the same time. I hope that makes sense. It's a little bit complicated, but yeah. We're going to talk about some of the positive things. So yeah, Abby, what are your thoughts?
Well, I have a list. I brought a list with me. So I love that what you said. So I think again today we are, there are different phases of grief very much so, and we're tossing out a lot of ideas. And that it's really okay that people do just whatever it is that feels good for them at the time.
Yeah.
In terms of food, I was talking in the last part about emotional eating, and I think food gets a bit of a bad rap because it's always kind of the villain of the piece. So one of the things that I wanted to suggest is this idea that food can also be part of the celebration of someone. And that a lovely idea, I think, is that it can be a celebration of a milestone around grieving. That you celebrate something that person enjoyed. So maybe the favourite ice cream that they had, or when we were talking off camera, you were talking about laying a place at the table and making a real special event of a particular meal that was maybe their favourite. So I think using food as a joyous thing rather than as a way to squash feelings, but more to bring up joyous feelings is a beautiful way to celebrate people, and to know that you can still talk about them. I think people fear they're not allowed to talk about them anymore now. That they worry about which. I know a friend that had lost somebody worried about what tense she talked in.
Wow.
Which can be a bit, confronting for a while. But not to worry about that stuff and just let yourself talk to them, celebrate with them still.
Yeah, and I guess that's how your relationship changes with those people. It's not that it ceases; it's just it evolves into something else, and how you create that is a very personal thing, like your relationship with them was. And and I guess
it might like it one day but not another day, I think, as you talked about, there's no linear line. You don't go from point A to B. There could be lots of days where that you don't want to do that, and that's the last thing you want to do. But then there might be days when that sounds like
feels right
to celebrate with that person. It feels right. That's exactly right.
And I guess that something that just came up for me then is, even for people who are around the person who is grieving, sometimes they don't want to bring it up because they don't want to upset the person, when really that's the best thing they can do, is talk about the person who's died, or the end of the relationship, or whatever it is, as a way of acknowledging it for the person, rather than it just being silenced and awkward. And I think that's where I love, we were talking about different cultures, like the Day of the Dead and that, where they actually celebrate people who've died, or celebrate loss, and bring food into it, and celebration and ritual. And I think I love that they have that, because in the West we sort of don't have those rituals, which I
No,
guess
we don't.
would make it
Because we're
easier
doing
for
that thing
people.
again where we're trying to be happy again. It's
Yeah,
like we're not allowed to be sad, or after a certain amount of time, we
yeah,
feel we're not allowed to be sad anymore. And I
yeah,
don't think that should be the case. And I think it's important to let the people around you know what you need. You know, like today I
yeah,
feel normal, let's be normal. Or
yeah,
today I feel really fragile, so
yeah,
today I need, you know, you to be gentle with me. Or today I just
yeah,
need you to be there and not talk.
yeah,
Whatever it is that you need, I think it's okay to ask for it. So I would really
yeah.
encourage people to feel what they're feeling and ask for the help that they need, which sounds so obvious, but people don't do it. Like, they don't do it.
No, and
They trudge on.
And I think it is sometimes you don't know what you need either. You know, you're in that space and it's hard to know what you need. But if you do know what you need, I think it's giving yourself permission to, like you said, to say, hey, I'm not up for that today, or yeah, bring it on, let's go. So I guess something else we talked about a little bit, and you brought up about writing, a writing thing, and I talked about creativity. I don't know if you want to share your writing technique that you recommended and said was a good thing that you say to people.
I thought this. Yeah, so when I've worked with a few people that have been struggling to move forward from grief when they've been in it for quite a long period of time, and the idea is that you write down 1 to 21 ideas. You write down 1 to 21, and you then write the 21 things about that person that you miss. And then you look at those things, and you for each one you say why it brought you joy or why it brought you pleasure, why you miss it.
Yeah.
And then when people are ready, and this can be quite a lot further down the track, but when people are ready, they can then take that joy and start to bring it back to the world. So it's like a gratitude practice where you identify why you're sad for the loss that you've experienced. Then you think why that brought you joy and why you miss it. And then you bring that to your community or somebody else in your family, or so it might be laughter, it might be sharing, holding hands, it might be a hug, all the things that you miss about that person you bring then forward, like a gratitude forward, but when people are ready, because of course that's a technique that people aren't ready for at the beginning.
Yeah, it's a pay it forward, isn't it what they call it? Pay it forward. Yeah,
pay it forward, yeah. But I thought that was a really nice way to bring joy and celebration again into the person's life and what they brought to you, which is why we feel sad. It's that loss.
Yeah. And I think you could do that around a job or a pet, or, you know, like you could apply that technique to any sort of loss. It's not specific to a person either, you know. It could be why you loved your job and why what that gave to you, and then
how can you bring that to your next job
or a volunteering position or whatever. So I think it's really good. And I think for me that's something that I do encourage when I'm supporting people is creativity is such a great way. You know, I think sometimes you don't want to sit and talk the story through anymore. You know, talking therapies can get a bit too much talky. For me, and I guess it's my art therapy background, is, you know, if there's a creative, expressive way you can do things, like whether it be through painting or through even cooking, you know, for some people cooking, gardening, singing, dancing, anything that takes you out of your head space and just brings you into your body and into a different space, I think can really help alleviate some of the emotion and shift some of the emotion as well, because it gives you a different way of expressing it that's not a verbal expression, or it's a different way of expressing your emotions that can almost get your head out the way and let the subconscious come through and let it come up from a deeper part of ourselves. So I love, you know, for me, I learned drumming. I went and did a drumming course, and I would paint and just and wail and paint and cry. That was my outlet, you know. But that's, you know, I'm not. But some people might be writing, you know, might be writing down how they feel, you know. So I think having creative outlet can be a real big positive way of releasing emotion as well.
Definitely, and also a way to dip your toe into the fact that you can have fun again. That's okay, you know, because I think that can be a big step, can't it? But that can be the beginning of experiencing happiness and joy again.
Yeah, definitely. And
my list. And also that kind of idea of emotions I had as well, that you sometimes you just want to blurt it out, and you might not just want to discuss it. It's just like you want to let it go. And I think writing can be a great way to do that, where you just write what, it doesn't have to make sense. You don't have to spell correctly. It doesn't have to be anything of any use. You're never probably going to read it again. You just let it go. I know a ritual around that can be burning, burning things after you've written it. It's quite a common technique, which is very effective. So lots of different ways.
I did a course. It's a great course. It's a book, Julia Cameron, and it's called The Artist's Way. And one of her techniques through her process, it's like a 12-week creative process, is to do what's called daily pages. And she gets you to, as soon as you wake up, you just write whatever comes out, just conscious stream. And you do that before you start your day. And that can be, especially when you're grieving. And I think I was grieving. I've done it about 4 times, and through some of that. And it's a great way to just offload that emotion and start your day in a different mindset almost, because you've, written all your swear words and whatever. Start the day.
Like me, I've done that process, and I got stuck on the fact that you're right, the 3 pages. And
you have to do 3.
I got myself in such a pickle about what size page. She doesn't say what size. I was like, what?
No.
Like A4? How big
mine were little like that, because I was like, because if I had a big one, I'm like, how do I? And that's the thing. She doesn't specify. And sometimes I write, I don't know what to write. Why am I doing this? This is stupid.
And she encourages that, doesn't she? Why you don't have to know what to write. You just
keep writing.
Just that brain
way.
Oh, I love that. So that's a few ideas we've just about said, and we've talked about things there that people will be ready for a myriad of different stages in the process. And that there is no end goal. Like, these things can be used again and again, and as you said, like, feelings of loss can come out of nowhere, can't it? You can be fine for a little while, and then poof, it hits you again out of the blue. And all of that is okay. And I think for my little bit, I just want to end on this idea of being curious and kind, that you don't judge yourself, and that you allow yourself self-care and happiness in whatever stage of dealing with emotions that you're at, because this is your life, and you want to be living it, even if at some points it's quite difficult to sit in that space. So kindness and curiosity are my words to go forward with.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I think for me, it's that allowing yourself, I guess it's down to self-care, acknowledging the emotion, allowing the emotion, and being gentle on yourself. Just being gentle on yourself, that you're in this process and it's okay. And like you said, not to judge yourself and not to be hard on yourself, to actually do the best you can in the moment. And tomorrow is another day, as they say, get up and start again the next day, and it will be different. So
you can that day.
I
know we talked very briefly on this idea of kind of numbing consciously. So for me, that kind of idea of curiosity really embraces that idea that whatever it is you're doing, just try to stay as much as you can a little bit conscious and aware of why you're doing what you're doing. And the beautiful Brené Brown talks about that in her book Daring Greatly. So that's just a book recommendation I'd make for anyone that is in that space at the moment, that wants a little bit more assistance around that kind of idea of conscious numbing.
She's great, Brené Brown. She's great. She's got some good stuff, Brené. And
if I was going to have afternoon tea with someone, I'd like to meet Brené and Oprah.
Oh, I'll have to join you. Can I get an invite there to that high tea? That would be a fun high tea. But I think that's I hope that helps people. And there is a Facebook page for Grief Awareness Day, and I think they were doing something like asking people to share videos about their grieving, so that just to raise awareness, and I guess to make it open to everyone to realise that I guess we all experience grief at some point in our life, so to normalise it somehow. So check out their Facebook page as well, because I think that was a project they were initiating as part of National Grief Awareness Day. So great to hang out with you, Abby.
Thank you. And people can check out any of my work at thenourishingnut.com. And I know you have a website too.
Yes, and I'm at theendoflifecare.com.au. So yeah, you can check. And I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm sure you are too, Abby. Yeah.
Indeed, I am.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me on.
No worries. Thank you. It's been great. Okay, that's a wrap. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Go forth and make health and happiness a habit, everyone.
Yes,
See you.
fabulous. See you.